Now.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to meditation this morning. My name is Paulo, and I will be your leader this morning. I'll get us started a little bit describing what we will be doing today. We will be meditating, right? So that's a charged word. There's a lot around it. So let's get a little bit more specific about what meditation really means. So today, meditation overarchingly typically is just focusing our attention over a prolonged period of time on a particular object. I'm sure there's other definitions, but that's the working definition I have worked with most of my life. More specifically today, we will be using our breath as that object of meditation. So as we go into meditation, we'll feel our breath in our nose, in our chest, in our belly, in our dough, really like the very center of our bellies. And we'll use it as an anchor for our attention. As we practice meditation, we're able to choose, right? Like it's this, just like an athlete would train how to run or how to lift things, us practitioners like to train our mind to be able to focus it on what we want to focus our mind in, right? So that's really sitting on the cushion and being here now with our breath is practicing that. Then, somewhere between like 7 and 10 minutes of that, and then we'll break it up with, we'll chant the syllable hung, and I'll let you know. And it's 2 hungs per breath, so it's like hung, hung. And this is a practice that Anne received from her teacher in Tibet, Atsum Trungpa Rinpoche. And it's meant to be, yet it's very simple practice, and yet is a practice that is very profound regardless of whether you've been meditating, for decades or you just started meditating today. It's a very accessible yet very profound practice. And from my personal experience, a little bit of the activity of the sound, right, as opposed to just the breath, which is relatively simple and innocuous. The breath has a little bit more going on, so it becomes just a little bit more of a more active meditation without being something crazy, like you're going to go meditate in the middle of New York City or something wild, right? So it's just taking little steps to be able to incorporate these meditations into our lives. That's so we'll do a couple of cycles of that, and I'll guide us through that, and that's pretty much it. So to get us started, we'll do our aspiration and Shantideva way of life and refuge in bodhicitta. So if you look, okay, Emily's very nice to us and already put it up there for you. So. May all beings always have happiness in its causes. May all beings always be free of pain and its causes. May all beings always be pain-free and live happily. May no beings ever cling to those near nor spurn those far. For as long as space abides, as long as the world remains, just so long may I be there, resolving all beings' pain. In three jewels, three rude blissful ones, channels, winds, right orbs, this body, mind, essence, nature, moving, love, mandal, until full body, seek refuge. And we'll do that 3 times. In three jewels, three rude bliss-filled ones, channels, winds, right horses, body, mind, essence, nature, moving, love, mandal, until full body I seek refuge. In three jewels, three rude bliss-filled ones, channels, winds, right horse, this body, mind, essence, nature, moving, love, mandal, until full body I seek refuge. And then below we'll do bodhicitta 3 times as well. Oh, like moons in water, sights deceive us, bound in cyclic chains, so all may rest in their clear mind sphere. I raise Bodhi through 4 boundless states. Oh, like moons in water, sights deceive us. We ever roam bound in cyclic chain, so all may rest in their free mind sphere. I raise Bodhi through 4 boundless states. Oh, like moons in water, sights deceive us. We ever roam bound in cyclic chain, so all may rest in their clear mind sphere. I raise Bodhi through 4 boundless states. And then we'll begin our meditation. And at first, just allowing your mind to come home, to inhabit the space of your body here and now. Taking a deep breath deep into your belly and expanding through your chest. Noticing if there's any excess tension that's built up from the week. Just gently as you exhale, trying to let go of that excess tension. With the lifestyle we have of computers and cell phones, oftentimes that means your shoulders might be a little bit too close to your ears. So just inhaling into the shoulders, and as you exhale, and just letting them fall away ever so slightly from your ears. Maybe you notice that your jaw is slightly clenched. Just separating your teeth and allowing your jaw to relax. And as you arrive into the here and now of your body, trying to find a comfortable seated position, whether you're in a chair or a cushion or whatever it might be that you like to sit on. Just trying to move back and forth and find a place where both your sits bones are evenly distributed, weight towards that sit place. If you're sitting on a chair, making sure both your feet are grounded and you feel stable. And then from there, just noticing your spine. It should be a relatively eastful position where your vertebrae are stacking on each other. And as you get to your cervical spine, to your neck, you tuck in your chin ever so slightly so that your spine is in line all the way up to the crown of your head. We'll feel and sense into the 3 pillars. The 3 pillars of support that support us in this meditation. As you connected with your sits bones, you're really connecting with Earth, right? Mother Earth that holds us here, that supports us without any judgment. Just feeling and sensing into the hold, the gravitational hold without any judgment that Earth has on us, allowing us to be here. Feeling supported by her. And building off of that first support pillar, noticing how your skeletal structure, your bones and the ligaments between them allow your body to stand, to sit, if you may, and be structurally sound so that you can sit here and meditate. So your own body, your own bones are your second pillar, just feeling into the solidness of them and how they hold us. The third and final pillar is our central channel, going from, the dough, which is about 4 fingers width down from the navel and 4 fingers width in, all the way to the crown of your head. In traditional yogic philosophy, this is where our most intrinsic, for lack of a better word, or most essential energies reside, and just feeling that. So it just travels in front of your spine, and it's going from your pelvic floor all the way up to your crown, just feeling into that. I'm feeling a sense on the subtleness of the energies in your body also hold and allow you to have attention and notice the breath, and just feeling into that as well. Feeling how those 3 pillars hold us and allow us to meditate. Feeling safe and supported. Just notice your breath. Put your attention in your breath. Maybe you feel the breath at the tip of your nose as it comes in and out. Or maybe you notice how your lungs expand radially from your center. Or maybe you want to tap into the deeper root of your breath, into your do, your Muladhara, which sits 4 finger widths underneath your navel, 4 fingers widths in. Maybe you can trace the root of the start of your breath from there. There's no right answer, whatever appeals to you, just feeling the breath, paying attention to it. And inevitably, you probably notice that thoughts come up. If we have mind, we have thoughts, so that's okay. Meditation is not wholly about not having thoughts, but about catching ourselves when we get distracted. So when you do have a thought, just notice that you have a thought and don't fight it, but don't cling to it either. I like to think that it's a little bit like treating a dog. When you let it out on a field and you just let it go. Just let it run away from you, and that's okay. We don't grasp at it. We don't try to hold it. We don't try to push it away either. Just let the thought go. Just coming back to your attention on your breath. We'll do a couple minutes of the home practice. And just staying curious with that practice, staying curious of your experience with it. There's no prescribed experience that you're supposed to have or not supposed to have, but it's just good to stay curious with different meditation practices. And as the experience resides, allowing yourself to connect and feel into the three pillars again. Noticing the support of Mother Earth. Noticing the support of your bones and skeletal structure. Noticing the support of your central channel. And then bringing your attention back to your breath, wherever that might be that you find it today. Bless you. We'll do another round of the Hong practice. Just noticing current state of your mind and your body and how it feels, just feeling. Once more, just noticing the feeling of those three pillars of support. The earth below us, just holding us without judgment. Our skeletal structure allowing us to sit here and meditate. Our central channel allowing our consciousness to reside here and now in our bodies. Noticing if our everyday life tension has crept back into our bodies. Maybe you clenched your jaw. Maybe your shoulders are a little tense or some tightness around your heart. As you exhale, maybe even exhaling out of your mouth, letting it go. And bringing your attention gently back onto your breath. Bless you. We'll take a minute or two to stretch out, and then we'll come back. And I'm going to read a chapter for y'all. Comfort with Uncertainty by Pema Chodron. And then we can do some Q&A and talk about it a little bit. We'll sit down and do like one cycle of the meditation we've been doing, and we'll do our closing prayers. That's the plan. I think most of y'all online know this, but if there's anybody in particular in your lives in need of an extra humph, we do dedicate our merit to certain people, and we put it in the book of names. So I think if you just type it up and send it to Emily, she can catch that for us. Thank you. Okay, so today we're going to be reading chapter 42, called Tuglin and Fearlessness. I suspect most of you already know what Tuglin is, but I'm just, without getting into the weeds too much, it's a practice of giving and receiving pain and suffering. So it's a practice that in Tibetan Buddhism is used to open our hearts to both our own suffering and that of others, but it's also practice of being fearless. It's a practice of being, like being open-hearted is pretty scary. So it's give us a second.
in preventing that.
I think we've taken care of the technical issues. Can you all hear me all right? Online? I don't know if they can hear me online. I didn't get any acknowledgement. Now they're saying they can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Awesome. Thank you. Sorry about that. Some technical issues for a second. So anyhow, I'll read Pema Chodron's words on Toglen because they're far more insightful than what I have to say, but just wanted to share that if you haven't and you're not familiar with Toglen, I highly recommend, there's many sources of the teachings, so I highly recommend seeking them and practicing them. It's a really nice practice. So, chapter 42, Toglen and fearlessness. In the Buddhist teachings, in the Shambhala teachings, and in any tradition that teaches us how to live well, we are encouraged to cultivate fearlessness. How do we do that? Certainly, the sitting practice of meditation is one way, because through it we can come to know ourselves so completely and with such gentleness. Toglen, sending and taking, practice also helps cultivate fearlessness. When you do this practice for some time, you begin to realize that fear has to do with wanting to protect your heart. You feel that something is going to harm your heart and therefore you protect it. After I did Toglen for the first time, I was amazed to see how I had been subtly using sitting meditation to try to avoid being hurt, to try to avoid depression, discouragement, and bad feelings of any kind. Unknown to myself, I had secretly hoped that if I did the practice, I wouldn't have to feel any pain anymore. When we do Toglen, we invite the pain in. Toglen takes courage to do, and integrity enough. Interestingly enough, it also gives us a lot of courage because we let it permeate our armor. It's a practice that allows us to feel less burdened and less cramped, a practice that shows us how to love without conditions. Negativity and resentment occur because we're trying to cover up the soft spot of bodhicitta. In fact, it's because we are tender and deeply touched that we do all this shielding. It's because we have this genuine heart of sadness to begin with that we ever try to shield. In Toglen practice, we become willing to begin to expose this most tender part of yourself. See, what is that saying? We are not brave because we feel no fear. We are brave because we feel fear and we still go on. It's a little bit like that with Toglen. We're not fearless because we're not fearless, but I would say brave from my perspective. It's that we are willing to open our hearts. That is practice. That's part of the Buddhist practice, is that we open our hearts to the world and the suffering in the world. And that is what motivates us to keep going and keep practicing. Right? Toglen is just a very powerful tool in our belt of meditators to do that. Any questions, comments, experiences, feedback?
I think what she's saying is extraordinarily profound, and I don't think it's easy to acknowledge how much we wish to push things away. It starts early in our lives, and it's very human to want to push pain and discomfort out of our experience. And at the same time, many of us, in psychology, we would call this kind of maneuver a defensiveness. And most of us appropriately build up defenses when we're young because we don't have the ability to tolerate physiologically discomfort. But if we maintain those postures moving into adulthood, we sometimes are closed off in ways that we don't even realize. So I think what she's saying is extraordinarily profound, and it speaks to the fact that as adults we can begin to tolerate our pain and through that develop empathy for other people's pain. There's a lot in it.
Yeah, it's interesting as I have practiced bodhicitta for many years, and I think psychology also agrees with this. But the experience is that we push away that negative feeling of sadness, or oftentimes it's fear and softness for the suffering of others. But when we push away the feelings, we aren't actually processing them, so they linger, they stay longer. But when we open our hearts to it, we're able to let the experience and emotion come through us and then go behind us. So in some ways, it's perfectly reasonable and understandable why we protect ourselves, right? Why we have these coping mechanisms that we've developed throughout our lives. But sometimes as adults, it's important for us to look at those coping mechanisms and do a bit of an inventory to see if they still work, or if they're really the most fruitful thing to be doing. And at least for me personally, the practice of Tuglen is always, it's so simple and yet so just peels away at the layers of my own, plethora of coping mechanisms that are no longer serving me. So hey, I'm not saying it's going to be the same for you. I just encourage you to try it for yourself and see. Anyhow, we'll do a few more minutes of seated meditation and a few rounds of Hung, and then we'll close our practice. And tapping into the three pillars once more. The earth, our bones, the skeletal structure, and our central channel. Just feeling and sensing into them. Connecting with your breath, wherever that is that you might find it. And noticing how, by connecting with it, we connect with our bodies and we connect with the present moment. I will do the hung practice for a minute, minute and a half. We'll dedicate our merit. By this good may I swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings, everyone, to reach to that very ground. The blessings. With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity. May the love wisdom shine within us everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandala. We dedicate our merit to all sentient beings, but in particular today to Sam, John, Bishops, Sylvia and Rolando, Nathaniel and Emma, Leah and Penny, Helen, Stephanie, Alexis, Randy, Kai, Emma, those with addictions and loved ones, all victims of war, all who are sick, Barbara, Ed, Ashley Hyde, Michelle, Hunter, Wells, Westlake, Barbara, and Ekman, Stephanie Cleary, Morton, Lesofsker, Bardo, Devra, Ussery, Michaela Ondin, Ann Hyde, Suravi Spokane, Jeannie Hardy, Todd, Solron and Shuki in Bardo, Laurel, Health, Mary, Steers, Animals, Victims of Oppression, Bowman, Laura, Claudia. And we're closer practice with awe, and as we say the syllable awe, we imagine our heart shining light to ourselves first and foremost, then to hear the Sangha that we've shared our breath this morning with, and then our city, our country, our world, our universe, the multiverse, wherever your mind might reach, let your light shine. Thank you for sharing your breath with me this morning and meditating. Always a reminder that this is not a Sunday thing. This is something you can take with you home. And it highly enhances my life, so I hope it does to you too. I'm sure we have announcements, but I might need Emily's help on that a little bit.
We have Lama Tenzin will be here in person and online April 13th. Oh, wait. We're meeting in person. Lama Tenzin will not be here in person, but we have a one-day event with him in person, with him streaming online and the Lamas translating April 13th. It is the Mind of Right Now teaching, the MIPOM teaching. And on Teaching Tuesdays, we are continuing with Harvey's series, Buddhist Practice on Western Ground, which is the synergy between Western psychology, psychotherapy, and the Eastern practices that we all appreciate here. So, oh wait, and we're gonna start having Qigong for free here every Sunday before meditation. Details will be out about that soon.
Thank you, Emily. Well, I'm already took an extra 30 seconds of your time, so I'll let you go and hope you have a good rest of your Sunday.
Thanks, Paulo.
Thanks, Paulo.
Yes.